Let's talk about some yarn today. We're in for a yarn chat, and if you guys are new here, my name is Patricia from Stitches by Pati, and I'm a crocheter, and I love making amigurumi, among other things. And this is my dog Miso, who's always wanting to be in the videos. But you guys, I am super excited today because I know a lot of you guys really loved Baby Bear and Posh from Joann's, and I'm so excited because Michaels has come out with a line similar to Posh and to Baby Bear, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. So we're going to get into Loops and Threads Cozy Cub first. This yarn is supposed to be like Joann's Baby Bear brand, and I think they did a pretty good job. This yarn is super soft and fluffy, and this one is $9.99 per skein. It comes with 241 yards or 7 ounces. And it is a 200-gram ball. It also comes in 15 colors. I picked up just a few. I got cream, warm gray, which is like a really pretty brownie taupe color, sepia, which is the teddy bear brown, light blue, which is kind of like an icy cloudy blue. I also got pale green. This is one of my favorites. And the last one I picked up is just red. This is honestly one of my favorite colors at the moment. It is so beautiful. There are a few colors that I really wanted from this line. They just were not available at my Michaels, and I haven't had a chance to order them, but one of them is this beautiful olive green, and they also have a darker blue, kind of jean blue. It's also very pretty, and a yellow. I could not find the yellow anywhere. Whenever I use up more of my yarn, I will be ordering those few colors because I think they're so pretty. And yeah, I want all the colors, but they do have 15 colors, which I think is a pretty good range compared to Posh Pearl, which they only have 9 colors in Posh Pearl. Here they are. That is a little bit disappointing, but I have to say I'm more of like a Baby Bear Cozy Cub fan than I am Posh Pearl and Posh. So I wasn't too upset, but I did pick up yellow in the Posh Pearl collection because I wanted a yellow. I told you guys I couldn't find the yellow from Cozy Cub, so I did decide to pick this one up and try it out. Posh Pearl is also $9.99 a skein. It comes with 233 yards, 7 ounces, and a 200-gram ball. So this one only has 9 colors, which is a little disappointing, like I said. However, I believe that you guys can mix and match these, and it works pretty well together. I will show you guys that in a project that I have made, but both of these are kind of like a blend, like a mix of blanket yarn and chenille yarn. They're not exactly chenille, they're not exactly blanket yarn, but they're somewhere right in the middle. I will say Posh Pearl is just a tiny bit thinner. Let me see if I can pull out a strand to show you guys. Here we go. Here's the comparison with Posh Pearl and Cozy Cub. As you can see, Cozy Cub is thicker. Posh Pearl is a little thinner, and I do like the texture of Cozy Cub a lot better. However, that being said, if you guys really love the Posh yarn that Joann's had, you would like this because I will show you guys right now the comparison between the two of them. So the lime color is Posh from Joann's, and Posh Pearl is on the bottom here. As you can see, very similar textures, very similar weights. So this one is a little thinner than Cozy Cub, but that is what they look like. Honestly, pretty good. If you guys are looking for a substitute for your Posh from Joann's, this line I would say is perfect. Now with Baby Bear and Cozy Cub, I don't think that they are as similar because the yarns do feel different. Up on top here I have Cozy Cub. As you can see, it is a little bit thicker, and on the bottom is Baby Bear from Joann's, and this Joann's yarn also has a sheen to it that I do not think the Cozy Cub has. So as you can see in the light, the Baby Bear on the bottom changes. You can see the sheen on it. The Baby Bear is a lot squishier. I feel like because it's just slightly a little thinner, it's more malleable compared to Cozy Cub. This one is a little more stiff. However, I really love working with both of these. This one is my favorite color out of the entire line. I would say this one and the red color because this one is just so unique, and this is just one of my favorite colors. But I will say this one is a little stiffer than the original Baby Bear. So now that you guys have seen the comparison with the Joann's yarn, I'm going to tell you guys what hook size I use. Despite the fact that both of these yarns aren't the same size, I still use a 4.5mm hook for both of them, and I actually do use these colors together, and I don't think it's that much of a difference when you work with both of them. I don't think you can see the size difference as much when you're working in the same project with it. You can see a difference, however, if you make one project in just Posh Purl and then one in just Cozy Cub. But this is the project that I was making with both of the yarns together. So the cream and the sepia are from Cozy Cub and the yellow is from Posh Pearl. But as you can see, it doesn't look like the sizing is off when I'm crocheting with it. They look good together, they blend well together. I don't think you could see a big difference in the weight of the yarn. I know it drives some people crazy. I personally mix textures and all that good stuff. Sometimes I'll mix weights within a project and I think it looks fine. So that's how this little bee looks like. And I wanted to tell you guys what kind of projects you can do with these. Obviously you can make anything with them, but recently I have been loving making tiny things. And one thing is sometimes like blanket yarn, like burlap blanket, you really can't use it for super tiny things because I feel like it just changes the shape too much and it just doesn't work. But with Posh Pearl and Baby Bear, I feel like you can make the tiny things. They come out just as expected. So here's a bee by Blue Jay Handmade. This has been one of my favorite patterns to make. They do not have the antennae yet. I didn't get to that. As you can see, I was prepping them, but I love this pattern so much. It is so easy. It is no sew. You do not have to sew the wings on. So I really love it for that. And I just really like the shape of the bee. It's more bee-like rather than just like a round bee, which we're used to seeing. I love those too, but this is nice and different and I just really love it. The next set of patterns I want to talk about, because like I said, I've been loving tiny patterns, are all the recent patterns that Skylar from Just a Mom Crocheting has been releasing. I've been testing these for her. This is a little hippo. It is so cute. These plushies are all no, so these little ones. So this is a hippo. I'm also going to insert a picture here of the hippo and capybara that were in the pattern pack. These patterns are now released if you guys are looking for market makes. I know a lot of people do summer markets. I know a lot of us are preparing for the fall markets or for the winter markets. So these are really nice and easy, and I think these would be perfect for mystery boxes or blind boxes or mystery bags, whatever you want to call them. I think these would be great. It's partly why I have 5 bees ready right now. I am planning to put these in mystery bags. The hippos will be one of them as well, along with crocodiles. I tested this pattern for her as well. Here is a picture. They are so cute. I am absolutely obsessed with them. And another tiny pattern from her is actually her little ducky pattern. I love that pattern so much. They are so cute, and those are also going to be going into my mystery boxes. But that is also a really great project that I've been loving, and you can definitely use it with, I feel like Posh Pearl might be even better for these tiny projects because it is a smaller weight yarn. However, Cozy Cubs works very well with them too. They're just quick, they're no-sew, they're absolutely adorable. And also, speaking of projects that I've made with these yarns, I'm going to put a picture here of a goose that I made for my friend Elizabeth. I used Cozy Cub cream for it, and the beak and the yellow parts on it are chenille home slim. However, that just shows you how versatile Cozy Cub is, because you can work with it with Sweet Snuggles Light, you can work with it with Parfait Chunky, with Posh Pearl, and I feel like they work well together. It's not a huge significant difference where you would be able to tell like one piece is bigger like than the other. There's no inconsistencies when you crochet with them together. And that pattern is by Hazy Yarn Grove. Unfortunately, that pattern is no longer available. The person closed down their shop. However, you can find so many geese patterns on Etsy. If you search up goose crochet pattern or anything else, you will find a plethora of different kinds of geese, and I just have to say they're all cute, and I think with big projects this yarn also works really well. I feel like if you make baby items like snugglers, this would be a very good yarn to use as well because it is smaller. So if your wrists hurt from the bigger yarn, you can use this one. They will come out smaller, but they have a similar feel, a similar texture. These, I would argue, is even softer than burnout blanket, and they are durable. It's not like you can snap them. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to tell you guys about the shedding. This yarn does not shed. It barely sheds. When you cut it, yes, it does shed a little bit. So this is what comes off of it. Just this much, which really isn't bad. And I snapped this, I didn't cut it, so of course you're gonna get more fallout if you just snap it like I did, but it's very nice, and that's why I recommend it for baby items, because you won't get like chunks of fluff falling out from it in comparison to like a Sweet Snuggles Light or a Chenille Home Slim or anything like that. So I definitely recommend this for snugglers for sure. But overall, you guys, all I have to say is that I really love these yarns. Cozy Cub is definitely a great line. I do hope they end up putting out more colors because I need some more colors, but I feel like for right now they have a pretty good variety of colors that you would need. These are more on like the pastel neutral side compared to like super vivid colors. And Posh Pearl, they only have 9 colors. I really wish they had more, or at least that's what it's telling me on their website. I've only seen a few of these colors, so I wish there was more of these. It is not my favorite type of yarn. Posh Pearl and Posh were not my favorite to begin with. However, working with Cozy Cub has made me like Posh Pearl just a little bit more, and I have to say the stitch definition with both of these is really nice. As you can see in my hippo, you can clearly see the stitches where the increases are, all that good stuff. So I don't know, you guys, I highly recommend Cozy Cub. If you liked Posh from Joann's, definitely give Posh Pearl a try. I know there aren't a lot of colors, but this one is really nice. And also there is another crocheter, Kayla. She sells her own yarn, and it is also a similar kind of yarn to Posh. So if you guys are looking for more colors, you can always check out her shop as well. But if you would like to try the new Michaels yarn, I say this is really good quality. Again, it doesn't shed, same way that Posh didn't shed. It's really good with the shedding. A little bit comes off, of course, as is expected, but it's not a crazy amount of fallout. And it is very easy to sew with both of these yarns. You don't get the part of the yarn that kind of breaks apart and falls apart like you do with Parfait Chunky, where things are falling out. That is just the perk of having a more microfiber kind of texture compared to the chenille. There's just less shedding. That's the nature of the yarn. But you guys, with all that being said, that is the end of this video. I hope you found this informative. Let me know if you guys have tried Cozy Cub or Posh Pearl, or if you're planning to. And if you have any more questions, leave them down below. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. But overall, Cozy Cub gets a 10 out of 10 for me, and Posh Pearl gets an 8 out of 10. Just, I don't know, that's my preference. Cozy Cub over Posh Pearl. But I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell notifications if you'd like to be notified anytime I post. And I will see you guys next week. Ciao for now.